It's about 7:30 on Friday morning, time for Give Back Friday, where we take the spotlight and shine it on a not-for-profit that's doing amazing things in our community. And we've identified yet another one. Welcome House is doing some spectacular work, and you can find out more about them at welcomehousekc.org. It's a not-for-profit sober living recovery program for adult males, and we've got Jamie Boyle in, who is the leader over there. And one of the things that strikes me is that you are like a lot of the other people that are involved with this, in that you yourself have been through the program.
Sure. Yeah. First, let me say thank you for having me in. It's an honor and a privilege. I personally in recovery and have been in recovery for a number of years. Went through the Welcome House program, and I know firsthand and personally, what is required, really, I think, to find long-term recovery and what can help somebody find long-term recovery, and that's what we do at the Welcome House. And fortunately for me, the program was there, when I needed it.
It's so funny because when we think about people who, need the help of a facility like Welcome House, you just feel like, you hear phrases like bottom out,
right.
or whatever. But, I'm sure that you're a shining light and an example because, you've got your BA in psychology from KU, MBA in health services administration from UMKC. You've got a successful professional life. You've got a successful personal life. And so those are the kinds of things that it's sort of like success doesn't keep you from falling. Falling doesn't stop you from getting back up.
Well, yeah. I think, and you can continue sort of the description there. I'm from a great family. My folks have been married 50 years, professional family, good Christian people, if you will. And, that's the thing about alcoholism and addiction. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your IQ is necessarily, what your education is, what your profession is, where you came from. Race, ethnicity, none of those things really matter. And, it's I say, and I've said before, it's an equal opportunity destroyer, and so if that is something that you have, then, ultimately you will hit a bottom. People's bottoms vary. One of the things that I found personally is that there's always another one, which is the scary kind of thing,
Right.
They just keep getting lower and lower.
Well, when you hit Welcome House, you had your backpack and $10.
Right. And that was, that was a bottom that I had never, ever believed or envisioned possible for me because of some of those things that you just mentioned,
Right.
To be a professional and to get an education and, to really feel like, hey, I've got this thing, by the tail, and then to have it completely wipe everything out and do all the collateral damage, to family and relationships and all of that stuff. I never believed it was possible. And so, when you finally get to that point, there aren't a lot of options for you. And it's just that kind of support that Welcome House is there to provide, and it literally saved my life, and it's an important safety net really in the Kansas City community.
So I'm sure that given your background, when you see people do the same thing you did and turn things around, there's probably not much else in life that has more meaning.
Honestly, when I look back on my experience, I'm an alcoholic and an addict, and that goes way, way back, and there's some genetic component to it, and there's all of the things that make that real are true and are there. But, I did live my life not really, in my opinion now, focused on the right things,
Yeah.
And I never really felt like, I was living my passion or my dream or, it didn't matter what title or how much money or none of those things were fulfilling to me. And then you go through this process. For me personally, my experience was I go through this process, come out thankfully by the grace of God on the other side, and things are really kind of put into perspective.
Yeah. So the guys that come to you are in transition from treatment, incarceration, homelessness. So you kind of have a mixed bag.
We
and
do.
I'm imagining that some of these people have more than one of those things.
Right.
And you have about 80 guys over there?
We have 80 guys. We don't. The primary requirement for admission into our program is a sincere desire to find recovery and change your life. And so we don't. We get guys from all walks of life. At any given time, I've got master craftsmen, and I may have an attorney or two, or some other working professional, salesperson. A lot of guys that just came in off the street, their addiction and their disease had destroyed their lives, and they've been kind of bouncing around. And because it's just the sincere desire to find recovery and change your life, you don't have to have anything. Somebody can come in and say, hey, look, this is it. I need help. I can't do this anymore. I got nothing. I've got nothing to give, and I got no job, and I haven't worked for a number of years or months, and I don't have my identifications, and really all I have are the clothes on my back. Please help me. And if we have bed space, we say, okay, come on in.
Yeah. The program itself is sort of a 12-step based program, epitomized by Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, zero tolerance, random testing. You have to attend meetings, you have to get a sponsor, you have to get a job, or conversely, volunteer.
Correct.
And I think that one of the things that, and I don't know if this is standard because I'm just not an expert in your field, but one of the things that you stress is that people need to pay rent.
Right. You know what? That's a good way of saying really, be accountable and responsible. And if in my case, for example, and I'll use my experience. I was used to doing things my way, living on my terms, and, especially towards the end, there was nothing normal about my way of life. Getting up and going to work and coming home, having a good meal, getting a good night's sleep, like none of that stuff was real. And so for a lot of our guys that come to the Welcome House, that's the state they're in. And so what we try to do as quickly as we can is get them back into a normal routine. And we are zero tolerance. We want to help you if that's really what you want to do, what you want, but there are things that you have to do. So you've got to go to meetings. You've got to get a sponsor. You can't use no matter what. We don't have the facilities to detox individuals, so they have to come detoxed already. But, once you get to the Welcome House, it's zero tolerance. Now, does that mean we try it out once and then you can't come back? No, because that's not the nature of the disease or addiction and recovery. I mean, again, myself, for example, it took a number of times before it kind of stuck.
Before it took.
Right. And
because it's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard. It's a simple program. The Welcome House program is a simple program. You'll even hear in recovery meetings in AA and NA, these are simple programs. They're not easy. They're not easy,
So people can, there's an application for admission on your website. Personal interviews required for admission. I think that the other thing that's very important is that the opportunity for people who want to help Welcome House, those opportunities are also available online, donations, volunteering, etc. I love the story behind the formation of it. 1970. Cool. It sounds like the guys that formed it were some crusty kind of guys. Like they were like
straight shooters.
Yeah, just hard knuckled, no bull guys.
Yeah. And that's, that it's probably the first miracle of the Welcome House, really, when you think about it, because we talk about Welcome Houses where miracles happen every day. And in my mind, that truly was the first miracle. We've got a bunch of guys that get together, form an AA group, and they're frustrated when they go out and try to work with other alcoholics and addicts because they don't have a place to put them. They start passing a hat in their meetings to pay for shady hotel rooms in downtown just to put
the hat.
Yes.
To put these people into flea bag hotels.
Correct.
That I'm sure have been raised by now or either rehabbed and turned into condos and lofts.
Right, exactly. Right. And then for that idea and that service to take hold and then to develop into what it has become today. I mean, over 15,000 men served.
1,200,000 meals.
Yeah.
40,000 12-step meetings.
Yeah.
Really, it's an amazing story. Yeah. And you have jobs programs, you have a university, which is essentially classes to help everybody get better, alumni fellowship. So again, just like you, there's this huge component of people giving back, people who have been there. There are also, and this is a key thing. If people have like day labor, moving, hauling, that kind of thing,
Right.
They can reach out to you and you can supply that for them, and they can help participate in the program by actually hiring for
Absolutely.
short-term
Yeah,
work.
it's we have a rehabilitative jobs program. There are a number of folks who are in not long-term employment, but they do program and house support functions like work the desk or work in the kitchen. We serve 3 meals a day to 80 guys. That's not any small undertaking. But we also have an emergency component of the jobs program called Jumpstart, and this is a lot more of the day labor types of things. So when folks come in and they have no job and they haven't worked for a while, we insist that they go out and start looking for more permanent employment immediately, but we also have good folks that call in and say, hey, I need 2 guys to do this general labor job next Tuesday. Do you have some guys for me? And that's been a tremendous benefit. It kind of gets them over that hump. And again, we want them busy and active as quickly as we possibly can get them there.
And if you want to just make a straight donation, there's the opportunity to donate where you can kind of direct your funds, whether it's like things like supplying residents with laundry money and bus fare, or scholarships to help pay rent for guys that are having a hard time sort of navigating, that are still participating in a healthy way, things like that. You just finished up having one of your fundraisers, a breakfast meeting, and by all accounts, Tom Watson, Willie Wilson, just spectacular. Big supporters, and that's really great. You've got a golf tournament coming up on September 26th over at Swope Memorial Golf Course, the 39th annual Kelly's Shillelagh Open, and that's available for people to
It is
participate
available,
in.
and that information is on our website. And again, the Kansas City community has just been tremendously supportive, and I can't thank them enough. I mean, we really couldn't do what we do. The cost structure for guys, once a person's gotten on their feet and some stability has returned to their life, they pay $22 a day. That includes everything, all of the things that you mentioned. And but for us, the cost to have them in the program is somewhere around $37 or $38 a day. And so, we could not do it without the support of the Kansas City community. And the Welcome House has traditionally, and still doesn't today, accept any type of government subsidy. So without the Kansas City community, the Welcome House doesn't exist.
So the exact way that it's happening has changed a little bit, but it's still about passing the hat.
It is, and being accountable and responsible.
Absolutely. Jamie Boyle is the executive director of Welcome House. If you'd like to call them, you can do that at 816-472-0760. All of the information that we've been talking about is available at welcomehousekc.org. You can also hit them up via email, info@welcomehousekc.org. Jamie, thanks for what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it very much. Jamie Boyle, executive director of Welcome House KC.